Horror and metal music. What more could you want from a band? The band Ice Nine Kills manages to mix two of my favorite things together into something plenty of people enjoy. I remember my first time hearing the band in the background of a YouTube video. I even remember looking in the comments to figure out who the band was so I can learn more about them. But today, I won't just be talking about the band and how they became what they are now, but also give some insight to the frontman and lead vocals, Spencer Charnas. I have been listening to this band for a few years, and they quickly became one of my favorites. Ice Nine Kills, also known as Ink, was formed in Boston, Massachusetts, and they are best known for their horror-inspired lyrics. The band was originally founded by Spencer Charnas and his high school friend Jeremy Schwartz in the year 2000. You might be thinking, Ice Nine Kills? What an odd name for a band. Well, the band's name comes from a fictional substance known as Ice Nine, which is from Kurt Vonnegut's novel, The Cat's Cradle. The band's current style is metal, but they didn't originally start out this way. The band started with Spencer and Jeremy singing covers of 90s rock bands during talent shows. The earliest original music of Ice Nine Kills was considered to be called ska punk, and their sound eventually evolved into what can be known as metalcore, or they can be considered theatrical metal. Before the band got the success they currently have, they would attempt to sell their music at concerts to people who were waiting in lines. They found their mainstream success in 2015 with their album Every Trick in the Book, in which every song is based on a different work of literature, including Dracula and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Although that album was what really put them on the map, they are best known for their album The Silver Scream, which came out in 2018. In this album, every song is based on a specific horror film, including classics such as Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Friday the 13th. This album really defined their sound and is what brought in most of their current fan base, especially with their vinyl, which features many horror movie icons. The band even released a graphic novel called Inked in Blood, which ties into their Silver Scream album. The band has lost and gained new members frequently throughout the years, and the only remaining founding member is Spencer Charnas. Spencer was born on November 14th, 1985, in Swampscott, Massachusetts. He's almost always had an interest in horror films, and as a child, he was drawn to the horror film section of movie stores. When Spencer was around 7 or 8 years old, he and his family witnessed a suspicious man load an oddly shaped bag into the back of his trunk. The family called the cops, and when the guy noticed they were following him, the car sped up and turned its lights off. The family never found out what was in that man's car, but Spencer often thinks about what it could have been. Spencer hasn't only been in the music scene, but has dabbled in the acting scene as well. He's featured in horror movies called The Dark Offerings and The Retaliators. Many people who have not heard of this band may think, what sets this band apart from any other metal band? Ice Nine Kills is known for its theatrical performances, which are definitely a part of their charm. Watching them perform is almost like watching a movie. They have multiple costume changes and even feature actors that play characters from various franchises depending on which song they sing. They manage to entertain their audience in a way that many bands can't. Although not everyone thinks that way. Ice Nine Kills once got banned from playing at Disney or in Orlando, Florida, because they were deemed too evil to perform. This is just a misconception, because the band is much nicer than the villains that they dress in costume as. During the Australian wildfires that occurred in 2019 and 2020, the band released merch and donated the profits to the Australian Red Cross and the Australian Zoo Wildlife Warriors. This band manages to mix horror and metal in a way that not many other bands have been able to replicate. If you want to read more about Ice Nine Kills, altpress.com has written quite a few articles about them. Or if you want a short biography of them, Gregory Heaney did one for allmusic.com. Thank you for listening.